now that some of the studies looking at who and how you might assess landowners in Fort Franks for part of all of the costs.
I guess, yeah, just going back to that point, we've had numbers that were up to close to $1 million for doing this type of work. So maybe 250, we're gonna be, is just like a hint for what we're gonna have to need to, like, what's the 250 gonna give us, Tom? It's gonna be worthwhile to keep it sustained for the future.
Right. Well, certainly it won't be all, that's for sure. I mean, we have done the soundings in the channel from Highway 21 to the lake to see where the problem areas are. But those soundings, I forget, you know how old they are now? Anyway, they may have to be redone.
4 years old.
And so you really need, and again, I appreciate your interest in getting things done, but if we move ahead with doing the soundings again, then you need to move ahead with the work, or 4 years later, you got to redo the sounding because the river is stuck full of sand and it shifts, and the blockages could be somewhere else by now. That's sort of just a dilemma. Yeah.
Well, that just goes back to my point. We're looking at a quarter of what the overall costs were that we made, a while back. Are we even doing anything? Are you just going to get part of the study done now?
No, that money would do some of the work as well. And the unknown quantity here is Mother Nature because, as you know, the lake levels are low. If we get a good solid winter with snow and ice, and even though you don't want ice jams, they could be your best friend in this case because they would force and wash it all and save you a lot of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in dredging. But we don't know that. So you need to sort of start, I guess, is my opinion.
I think part of this money that's being spent is going to address the issue of pay. That's one of the concerns that we all have. Councilor Russ.
Yeah, and I think we're probably, if you don't mind, Mr. Mayor, I think Tom's willing to come up anytime. I mean, Alex working all the time with them. We know the neighbors all the time, right? But I'm just thinking in terms of answering Councilor Cook's concern. I mean, it isn't one thing, and it could be multiple things they could be working on. Tasking, for an example, over down at the end of Walden, just before, in between Walden, where the BC drain is, just the road, BC drain, there's areas there that's mentioned in the study about burning and stuff, and the improvement in that road going back and that type of thing. It isn't all digging, but you have to know what you're doing in advance in the river, but outside of the river, they've already got those soundings. They know those soundings. They know that there's certain places where you're going to get the ice happening. So there's things to be done, but I think we should know that. So we can invite it back.
Deputy Mayor Dec.
For you too, Tom. Thanks for being really on the spot. I guess that one of the most viable options I've ever heard with regards to ice management was the actual corporate partnership to purchase dredging equipment, so that we're not hiring someone every 2 years to resolve this problem. Right? It seems like there is a decrease in water levels. They're lowering consistently at the water, at the lake, and internally too. And there's more interest in potentially purchasing equipment, which obviously ABCA would have to be involved on some level as well, because you have partial responsibility for that water course. So is that being really seriously investigated? There's potential partnerships with other municipalities, other jurisdictions?
Not by us.
Not by you at all?
When we talked with MLR on that, they said there's no dollars towards equipment.
But if we corporately spent $1.5 million on a dredging piece of equipment, right, on some type of lorry, and we have 5 different jurisdictions that jointly invest in it, it's a feasible expenditure. I mean, we're spending upwards of $150,000 on a special levy this year ourselves. So if you get 5 or 6 all spending $150,000 on a special levy for this, which saves them a long-term problem or resolves a long-term problem, it only makes sense, I think, that we has to be investigated. So
We could investigate.
they have the problem too. Yes, Goddard has a problem. Blue Water has a problem.
If you ask us, we would do that, but I don't remember formally being asked to investigate that. So.
It was brought up in our discussions with Alex. I remember he
Councilor Scott.
We had a group of people come in here and discuss with us the river. We have ownership in a Port Franks marina. We have 90 slips, it says right here in this green bar, we have 90 seasonal slips. We charge X number of dollars to, and up until now, we've been making money on this, and I believe we are in the black with Port Franks Marina. No, we're not this year? Okay. Well, we have been up until this year. The bottom line is, if there's any hope of having a Port Franks Marina, we need to do something. These people came in here and told us that. We got $100,000 that we're looking for the permit to go out and do something. I mean, people now can't get across to Armstrong West, not because they don't want to go over there, but because and we're talking aluminum boats with just a little outboard on. They can't get across without, and they don't have sounding equipment on, so they're trying to get from the dock that they rent from somebody over to their property, maybe not so much right now, but I was just told the other night, they couldn't go over if there were too many days in a row, because there's not enough water to put the motor in to go across, right? So, I mean, we either forget about it totally, or we start to do something about it. And we already have $100,000 in there to go out and pull trees out and cut them up, if that's what we do with getting permits to do that. I think we've got to put, well, I think Councillor Russell said the best way the last time, we need to put our money in our mouth and start doing something.
We have to know what we're doing. And that's the thing, we have to know. We gotta have them back. Okay, so the motion on the floor is that we're gonna approve the budget items. We're going to send our representative to the meeting to support the budget process, the budget that has been here. That's council's direction. Deputy Mayor Dec.
Should we also task the MCA with doing an investigation on the possibility of purchasing dredging equipment as part of this $250,000 that we're putting towards our investigation?
We'll do it. If you want to bring that motion following this motion, that would be a separate motion.
Okay.
All in favor of the motion with the budget? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, so the motion's there, so if there is another motion that you want to investigate,
Yeah.
what's the motion?
The motion is that, the Lake Shores Council, if this is okay with Tom, this is good, that we, sort.
She has to hear the motion.
You're the one who most important.
Yes.
Not Tom.
Carol will send it to you tomorrow.
Okay, that as a result of the anticipated monies coming from WECI and our investment in a special levy for the ice management, that Lake Shores Council directs ABCA to do an investigation on the potential of investing in some dredging equipment to, in partnership with other interesting municipalities or jurisdictions that would have sand buildup problems as well.
Okay. Motion is that we ask ABCA to investigate purchasing dredging equipment with the barge, I guess, to get the trucks to haul the dirt away, or everything involved, or? The motion is to investigate getting equipment to do dredging.
Equipment for dredging, period.
Is there a,
In conjunction with other.
In
in conjunction with other municipalities? Are you going to second that?
Oh, second, I would like to speak to it.
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. Question is whether or not Port Franks, we want Port Franks to be a port or not. Now with climate change, the way the lake is dropping, if it goes anywhere like Europe, in about 5 years, it's going to be about 500 meters away from the water anyway. That's just the way it goes. But we should investigate the potential of being able to keep this open as a port with other jurisdictions. It just makes sense, because that is a big part of what it is. Now, there are conservation areas, so your job is to conserve the waterways and the fresh water and all the rest of it, right? It's not, and the wildlife and everything else that goes along with it. So if we were to do what they do in Europe, and just concrete it all and save it out and save your channel, we're not allowed to do any of that stuff. And it's a meandering river anyway, it would be impossible. So if we look at dredging equipment with other municipalities, there is a good chance we'll be able to help us along for a few years, all right? But we have to decide whether or not in the long term, we are willing